welcome to my podcast, Spiritual Quest, with me, your host, Vibeke Garnos, always guided by Spirit. I am very excited to share my gift with you and empower you to embrace your gift. So if you define yourself as a spiritual human being, then you've come to the right place. So prepare yourself now for an amazing journey where your soul will lead the way. Hi there, and welcome to a new episode of the Spiritual Quest podcast. Today's guest is someone whom I truly enjoy connecting with. And we always have the most amazing, life-transforming conversations on the Discover Life Between Lives Wisdom podcast, presented by the Michael Newton Institute. Indrani Sinha is a wellness consultant, an integrated clinical hypnotherapist, transpersonal regression therapist, and Life Between Lives hypnotherapist from Dubai. I really feel deeply connected with Indrani and her journey in the complementary healing and alternate methodologies actually began in the mid-1990s. And she includes a range of learnings and techniques in her sessions. And some of them, I think, is cognitive behavior therapy, emotional empowerment technique, Theta Healing, which I would love to hear more about, Reiki, crystal healing, Shamanic healing methods. Let me think now because it's a lot. Cell Regeneration, yoga, Pranayama. I think I mentioned most of them. If not, I'm sure she will enlighten me. And she counsels and facilitates group sessions for corporate and educational institutions worldwide. And she's the acting director of public engagement at MNI, where she's also my co-host of the Discover Life Between Lives Wisdom podcast. Okay, that was a lot. I could just have to feel getting a little centered right now. I'm so excited and to introduce this wonderful human being, this amazing soul, where we're connecting soul to soul, and say, thank you for being here, Indrani. It's such an honor for me to have you on this podcast. So welcome to the Spiritual Quest podcast.
Thank you, and a big thank you. Oh, Rebecca, that was so beautiful. Thank you
Did you
so much.
feel my energy? I just felt so high, so I lost my thread. I was like, where am I going? It was just, I'm so excited because this topic that we're discussing today, for me personally, has been an issue the last 3 years. And so when we connected and we have this deep conversation, Indrani, and I feel really blessed to have them with you on the Discover Wisdom. See, now I'm messing up the words again. What's the podcast name again?
Discover life between lives wisdom.
Thank you for helping me. So we have these deep conversations and getting to know you. I know you have a lot of resources and you've helped a lot of people and businesses to really embrace the abundance part of life and specifically money issues. And money has been like a theme in my life, to be honest. And so connecting with you now, and I trust you so deeply, which means I can be very, very vulnerable with you. So I want to ask you for some guidance today, and I'm sure a lot of people are struggling as well after 3 years with pandemic, and we're going through quite of a shift, if you wish, in the way we look at our lives and how we want to live life. And so looking at the abundance part of being human and the financial part of that, I think is something people think about in these
They do.
around, yeah, their lives, their personal lives. So would you just share a little bit about your personal story so people can get to know you first of all?
Okay, so to begin with, I was born 55 years, 10 months ago
I
in a
love that.
city.
You're so specific. I love it.
In a city called Calcutta. My father was a businessman. My mother was an ex-film actress. She was also a person who was a lot into social work. So they were a couple who were very well known in society, the society that I was born in. And I was born into a world, or I was born into a household, a family, which was a joint family. There were cousins and other uncles and aunts living with me. And what I saw was through my parents, and this is where it brings in the transgenerational or the ancestral aspect of our relationship with anything, is I was in a family where my parents saw huge heights and huge lows
Mm.
in their journey as well. And I'm going to completely speak from the perspective of financial stability, security, the understanding of wealth, prosperity, and abundance.
Oh, I love that. Hmm.
So, when I was born, apparently my father, just before my birth, had had a huge hit in his own businesses, and he underwent a massive loss in those times. Now, this has all been related to us later by my mother, that he had a choice at that time of announcing bankruptcy, thereby saving his personal financials, or what he chose to do was he says, no, I'm an ethical person and I will pay back whatever has been lost. So, my first understanding of life from the perspective of my parents was, in the realm of money, ethics play a very big role. You have to be in integrity in the relationship. The second thing was that even though I did see a lot of financial tough days or tough phases as I was growing up, the other side of it was I went to a very premium premium private school, very elitist school for that matter. So my brother, who's older than me, was born at a time when he was literally treated like a prince because of the huge amount of financial abundance that he was born into. You know, firstborn, male child, business family, parents are doing so well. And 5 years, 9 months later, when I come along, there is a change in the family's financial reality. So, as a soul, in my journey of growing up, interestingly, Rebecca, very pampered child, was given a lot of what I wanted. But today, as an adult, when I'm looking back and I'm mapping my journey, I can clearly identify where the hardships were, what my parents went through, what difficulties they may have faced, which as a child, I didn't have the understanding, but as an adult, I did. Now, when I got married, I was married to a person who also belonged to a financially very, very affluent family. Only son, business family. He himself was in business, but there was a financial reality difference there where even though I was part of that environment, I wasn't included in it.
Mm.
I'm literally bearing my life to you here.
Yeah.
So again, a big learning for me was you are responsible for your own financial reality. So even though I'm surrounded by the affluence of that environment, it isn't mine.
So you felt
And it
separate of it that it was,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I wasn't included in it. Let's just put it that way. So when my divorce happened, my separation and then my divorce, my entire financial reality again shifted. Why? Because part of the world that I belong to, the society I belong to, did I earn? Yes, I was earning from the time I was 18 years old. But I earned, I spent.
Mm.
I was married in an affluent environment. I'm the only daughter in law. So, words like investment, words like saving money, words like put your money away for rainy day didn't come into my vocabulary. I earned, I spent.
Mm.
I would do something. I was a lot into my workshops. I used to actually do television work. I used to model those days. So I was earning, but I was also spending the money.
Mm.
When my separation happened, I realized today when I look back, Rebecca, because of a spiritual awakening I went through at that time and my leaning towards the spiritual aspect of understanding abundance, I realize abundance, prosperity, wealth, money reality is about you and the universe.
Mm.
Everybody and everything else is a conduit or a catalyst. The conduit enables, the catalyst polishes you. And as I'm saying this, you're possibly thinking of various aspects of your life, various people in your life who could have played either role.
Most
So,
definitely. I think everyone listening or watching are doing that right now.
yeah. So I realized today that I have deep gratitude to my parents, to the environment where I saw a lot of backstabbing, a lot of underplaying, a lot of uh, cheating. My father was deeply cheated, if I may say so, where he lost a lot, and that too to people who he trusted a lot.
Mm.
But what is my learning is, do I hold any of them responsible? No. I could easily have been a very embittered soul who could have given you a list of people with a list of reasons behind why I felt, oh, I was abandoned, rejected, cheated, my inheritance was taken away, I could have filed cases, and all of that. But what my life lesson has been is your relationship is what you fine tune. And if you can truly do it, nothing holds you back from being in a space where you can every morning wake up with this grateful thought that I have more than enough.
Mm. You're right.
So if I fast track since then, what my separation and divorce taught me was you can always restart. It was not.
That's
It
hard.
was not easy. It was not easy at all, Rebecca. I was literally ground zero restarting.
Oh, wow.
What did I have in my side was my intent, my prayers, my belief that I can do it. And I'm very grateful that there were a few souls who totally, completely backed me. They literally had my back, my elder brother, my godfather, and some very close chosen friends. And what I understood was that if you take full responsibility of your own situation, you stop the blame game, you go into a space of objectivity instead of subjectivity, you can start realigning your money reality.
Mm.
And I am honestly sharing this with you. When COVID happened, the world went into a lockdown. uh, One of the first things I did was, and this is April 2020, Dubai, as you may know, we didn't have a very long lockdown period. We are very blessed with the government here, the rulers. They have made us so grateful for the space we've been in. We've literally been in like a beautiful bubble, so protected. When I've seen the kind of hardships, pain, trauma people across the globe have gone through, we were sitting in this beautiful bubble of safety and security. And that brings me to something I began towards the end of April. It's literally lockdown started. The first thing I did was I started a campaign called a gratitude challenge of 21 days.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
was supporting people through social media where I said, you know what, guys, every single day we're going to do this for 21 days. And what I was pushing and encouraging and empowering people to do is every day find what you're grateful for. There has to be something you're grateful for. I even broke it up. I would say, okay, today is going to be for dad, another day for mom, another day for teachers, another day for friends, another day for family, for society, for the city you live in, your home. I was pushing people, encouraging people, my clients, my students, people who didn't know me, because I was reaching out on social media, that guys, just be in a space of gratitude. And that brings me to the first manifestation rule: grateful, 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 be
Mm.
grateful.
So true.
Appreciate, acknowledge, appreciate, acknowledge. Because what you then start to do is you amplify from your physical space this huge ability to be grateful. And what does grateful mean? That means I have received something, thus I am grateful.
Mm.
And sometimes all you're receiving is your next breath. You are receiving, and therefore, what have you done? You've acknowledged.
Mm.
And then when you're grateful, you're appreciating. So the universe is like, oh, you like that? Fine, we'll give you some more, and some more, and some more.
Mm.
And a lot of people say you can't simplify it. And I'm saying, like, please don't complicate it. It is actually that simple.
Well, it sounds too simple for many people. I mean, we
So I'm
all
going to
have
shut up.
something. Yeah, we do have, everyone has something to be grateful for. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's the breath, just that you're breathing, just that you're here on earth experiencing life. That is something to be grateful for. And I know that if you connect with your soul and allow spirit and the guidance of a spirit, it tenfolds. I mean, the feeling of gratitude is a natural state of being. So it's
Yeah.
just remembering why we chose this life, more or less. To me, that's how I look at gratitude anyway.
So, it takes me to another point, Rebecca, is so a lot of people have asked, okay, so what do I do, if I have to break through it? I said, okay, let's just break this up. I'm kind of giving you the look of the cake. Now let's get into making that cake. Learn to spend time alone
Mm, yes.
and journal a few things which are very important. For that matter, what I'll do is I'll share with you, and I've actually made a whole list of things that people can do if they truly want to realign this relationship that they have with money. Is to understand that abundance is a state.
Yes.
Feeling prosperous is a feeling. Money, money is also energy, Rebecca. It's currency that you can see. And now, of course, you have virtual currency. So that's another dimension that one has gone into in this realm. But what it's making me realize is that if you want to realign this relationship, you need to go in within yourself and see what blocks do I have in my belief about money.
I think
Do
that
I?
there's where a lot of people actually find themselves struggling. The belief system, how to change a belief.
Yeah.
Can you say
So
so?
to change a belief, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, okay, make an Excel sheet, write down all your money beliefs. Every belief you have under the sun, every habit, every rule that is directly or indirectly related to money. Next to that, write down, who did you get it from? Is it mums? Is it dads? Is it grandmom, granddad, uncle, stepfather, school teacher, my guardian, my tutor, maybe my the religious leader? Religion also plays a very big role. The socio-cultural implant, any geopolitical implant, any historical implant. So there can be so many influences.
I know
Who would
because I've done that exercise and I was like, whoa, I was shocked of how much, how many beliefs that I've adopted throughout
yeah.
my life. I mean, I'm 47, but still, I had a lot of beliefs around money. So, yeah, sorry, I
And
wanted to say that.
no, absolutely. So now when you make the second column and you start writing down the name of the source, it takes you to this clear cut understanding. If I could have picked it up, then I also have the choice of letting it go.
Mm, you're so right.
So, for example, if I may give a very personal, so I've worked on this. It's not like I'm sitting here and it was one big day and everything just opened up for me. No, I did work on it. And this brings me to understanding that when you meditate, when you spend time alone, when you go into an internalized space, it makes you look at your own realities, your own experiences, your learnings. And that's how this Excel sheet can be created. That's how you can journal. You can't just sit and journal. And when you start making that list, it gives you that realization that, okay, if it was their reality and I picked it up and made it mine, do I have the right? Yes. Do I have the choice? That's yours to let it go. And when you choose to let it go, trust me, you will manifest in your space people, resources who will enable you to let it go. I have bizarre experiences where before a dinner with a teacher, she went up to her hotel room to change her clothes before we would go for dinner. We went after class. And my friend and I, we were hanging out in the it's a suite, so we were in the living area and she was in her room changing. And when she came out, she heard us discussing about money realities. And spontaneously, we did a family constellation on my relationship with money. We're supposed to go for dinner, no plans. So I feel that when you amplify into the universe that you're open to changing your reality, you're open to shifting, you're open to changing your frequency in a particular relationship, the universe will manifest resources who will enable it. But the choice, the openness to receive, the belief that I deserve to receive, all that is your work. You have to take responsibility and you have to trust that if I am doing this, I am benefiting myself. Then everything you do will help you along the way. People say, I pray it hasn't happened. I said, what is the intent behind your prayer?
You're right.
Is your
Right.
yes. I could be sitting here chanting a mantra for hours together. Of course, things will move because you're praying. But if you really want results and you want results to manifest, your intent has to be very clear because the
I want
universe
to,
picks up the frequency of your intent.
can I share something, Indrani? Because this is personal to me, and I'm, of course, tuning in and listening to your words, and I'm trying to, really take them in. And it's like an acknowledgement of the journey that I'm on. And
Mhm.
I remember, when was that? Well, not too long ago, but I was, one moment, there's a shift in energy.
Mhm.
That's the thing about being, when you're speaking. Okay, maybe I should share a little bit about what we've done earlier today. This is the spiritual podcast, and I'm on a spiritual journey. And I just want to say that I've had a download and a realignment with my energy earlier prior to us doing this podcast. We did a previous podcast with another wonderful woman, and the gift that she gifted me was tremendous. So that's the abundance from the universe that you're speaking about as well. I was receiving, and I was shaking after that session, that podcast. And I could feel myself shifting. And I knew that was a gift. And to be honest, when I was reached out, or Em and I reached out to me to do the podcast with you,
Mhm.
I knew that that was part of being abundant. I knew that because I've been working on releasing some belief systems that, like I said, I did that exercise you just mentioned. And I've been letting go of a lot of things. And as soon as I started to let go, the universe started to respond to me. And one of those um, gifts was being able to work with you and to share deeply soul connected conversation that has brought light to my journey. And it's been, I didn't understand that I put myself in such a dark place, that my shadow work, like everything was kind of coming back again. Worked so hard on releasing, worked so hard on myself, was in the flow, and then finding myself losing it. And what I did when I started to feel out of alignment at that time was actually started to listening to other people. I lost my true essence, the divine path that I've always been on that created my flow, the guidance of spirit that I promised myself that I would always listen to and tune into. And I started to listen to other successful money wise people out there doing, great work. And I started to try to, I have something to learn, I have to listen. But what I did is that I took their words And I adopted those words and I thought, to be successful, I will need to shift the way I was being guided by spirit. I'm just talking what's coming to me right now. And so I started to, and this is a therapy session, Indrani, I'm just telling you. um, and I was starting to, and they said something when you said the intention. I know how true that is because I always set my intention and who do I want to be. I want to be a channel of love. I want to be guided by spirit. I want to be open for anything that comes my way. I want to live my destiny. I want to be part of that. I want to make decisions to live the best life. And I can only do that when I have an intent and I know who I truly am and I'm connected. But I started to listen to everyone saying, well, if you're going to be successful, you need to ask the who, not the why. So I actually, I'm getting upset. I'm getting a little teary eyed because I started to close the door on that why that kept me pure in my mind. Because the meditation, the connectedness, it kept my mind pure. I could, I would always remind myself to choose love instead of fear. And I started to look at the world and start, well, if I'm to have value and be successful money wise, I need to be more occupied with who I'm serving, not why I'm serving. So I lost, that's where it all went sour for me. I'm getting upset because it's really profound when you sit, when we're opening up and we're sharing, to acknowledge that. And not only that, you gifting me that opportunity prior to this podcast and having that understanding of me just sitting as a human being with my all my limiting beliefs and just allowing myself to be an observer instead of, not just being human in that aspect and being gifted that and seeing all the teachings and learnings just integrating. And now for us to speak on this level, I must admit the energy is, I don't know if you feel it, but it's really strong for me right now.
I can
I
see
think
that.
this is a healing session. So
It
everyone
is.
listening, if you've understood, like in the beginning, I lost my words. There's a lot of things going on today. And I just wanted to share that because I think it's beautiful and it's authentic. And I hope it can be of inspiration. That's why I'm doing this podcast as well. So thank you, Indra. Back to you.
Thank you. I'm while you were talking, what came to me was we don't do anything by chance. So when we chose to share this, it takes me to an understanding, a very, very deep level understanding in my own journey is the day I acknowledged, very important, acknowledged myself as a conduit and a contributor, an enabler. Have seen shifts happening very quickly in my life. For it, and I think when COVID happened in this world, and the world went into a lockdown, people were having a lot of issues. One of the key things that I would there were few rules I lived with. One is I didn't read the news. I didn't see, frankly, much of television. Very honestly, I was binging on Netflix and Amazon Prime. But did I see the news? No. Did I listen to the news? No. Did I see a lot of the stuff that was floating on social media? No, I wasn't. I would spend extra time in my meditation, my internalization, my own prayer time. I would do a lot of the work that I was very happy to do, did a lot of webcasts and stuff. And one thing that came to me was the day you acknowledge, I am an enabler, I am a contributor, and I'm a conduit, that means what are you? You are basically a channel. There is a receiver, there is the transmitter, which is the universe. So now there are two things, right? You are just the channel in between. All I need to do is to just keep myself clear so that the energy can flow easily. And in the process, you are constantly in an abundant state.
Mm, so true.
So today, if you ask me, have I been able to do my humble bit for others? Yes. Will I continue to do it? Yes. Do I feel good doing it? I feel super grateful being able to do it because that essentially means the universe is trusting me. Source is trusting me to be able to do this for other souls.
Oh, I love
And
that. I've forgotten that last. So the universe is trusting you.
yes.
And I think that's a key part for me personally because I used to trust
Hmm.
completely and
Hmm.
then I lost it because I shifted my focus.
So I'm going to give you another input here. Maybe it'll help you some more. This is something that happened to me, I think, last year. There was an organization, a group of young people, they had reached out to me and they said, we want to do a series of classes. It'll be like master class series. You've taught this, and they've been students of mine in the past, so they knew what I do. And we want you to do a money series, and we'll do this. And I listened to all of them. I said, great, I'm very happy if I can contribute this way, nothing like it. And for me, it's easy, Rebecca, because I come from a background of training and teaching. So for me to create modules or to create a PDF, which I will also want to share with you, to share with your viewers with this podcast, where, I've listed out things that they can do, what are the different techniques. And I did all of that.
Mm.
And very strangely, mystically, they just disappeared. There was no feedback from them. They went back to their home country, complete radio silence. And all I understood was when it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So that day, when you and I were talking, and you said that Indrani, share your money reality, money and me, understanding the concepts and all of that, I said, see, this is why universe said, wait,
Mm.
because there are so many people in this world who want to make the shift, who want to realign their relationship with money, and they aren't able to very honestly afford possibly to go for therapy or go for counseling or go for any kind of holistic tools. So if I can even 10% contribute with Rebecca's help to these people, to these souls, and they can benefit out of it, and they can make those changes, then this is why the universe held me back, because today I can do it with you.
Yes.
So
Thank
I am grateful to such an immense degree that we have this opportunity to help people, to support people. Because see, Rebecca, what are we doing? We're going to hold space for people. We can talk to them, we can encourage them, we can share with them techniques and tools. But what I always tell my clients as well, you want to change your money reality, you got to do the work.
You're so right.
I'll walk the road with you. I will keep pushing you. I will keep making you get up if I see you stumble and fall, but you will still have to walk yourself. It's your journey. I can't walk it for you because I trust your soul and I trust the potential of the universe and your ability to tap into that potential which is sitting dormant in you. And once you've tapped into it, everything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yes. I'm getting fueled up. I'm so grateful for everything that you're sharing right now because it really is a confirmation of everything that I've been through. And I deeply believe that, I chose this life, I chose my family. I also have money history with my family, and which I've adopted. And I've actually had really good conversations with honest conversations with my father specifically, also my mother, but where I've asked him about his beliefs because I really needed to understand where he was coming from to forgive some of the things that I was working through. And so I
Hmm.
felt really compelled to speak with him from an honest, vulnerable place and tell him about my struggles and to really, with no judgment, just for my own understanding, to look at my beliefs from his perspective so that I could see where I've kind of took it on and how I kind of formed it for myself and molded it to fit me. And it was such a freeing exercise. I'm not saying that this is for everyone, but for me, that was such a huge part of forgiving myself
Hmm.
and understanding. And first of all, I had to forgive myself to forgive my father. And I always keep reminding myself that I am on my path, my journey. As long as I trust and I understand why I do it, what my intention, I will be guided. I will be protected, I will be guided, and I will receive what is meant. And I think that acceptance part of that has been transformative for me as a human. But I must admit, when we're talking, I mean, it's still sore some places, that it's still in my body because I can feel myself shifting as you're speaking. So also, I acknowledging that most of us know these things. Many of us who's been on a spiritual journey, we know this. We have had that teaching. But the thing is, to be in it and to learn it and to embody it is two different things. You really need to embody this. And sometimes you have to go over and over and over again to really get there where you can own it, own your divine essence, and to be so trusting in the universe and the power that you carry within yourself. So I'm just super happy and thrilled and so grateful for everything that you're saying. And I just wanted to share that, as you know, you wonderfully guide us through these topics. It's amazing.
So, Rebecca, when you talked about having that dialogue with your father, it brings me to another life lesson. So, I lost my father when I was 22 and a half, and I lost mom when I was 29. And I separated from my husband when I think I was 35, and my divorce came through when I was 39. That's the timeline. Now, why did I give you these age factors? Was when I got into the world of therapy, regression therapy, all the different other modalities that I practice. In each modality, at some point, the relationship with abundance and money has popped up. Now, one exercise, and I say that as an exercise because I've done it when I was doing my regression therapy work, in my hypnotherapy work, when I did Theta Healing, when I've done in shamanism as well. So, in any of the modalities that I've practiced, one of the things that we have to see is a large part of your money reality is linked to your ancestor. And your ancestors in this case would be paternal ancestors, maternal ancestors. Now, a lot of times, in my case at least, I can say this that my parents weren't alive when I got into this journey, so there was no way of corroborating evidence through them. So, for me, a shift was a proof that what I was doing was right,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So, in that space, and I speak to you from a regression therapist perspective, and I'm in that space and I'm having this dialogue with the energies of my departed ancestors, parents, grandparents, the kind of losses they have faced, the beliefs and postulates they created about money because of their life experiences, which were embedded, implanted, or entangled in my space, probably from the time I was in my mother's womb. So that's one layer. And this is something that is so important that if you want to change your money reality, you need to disentangle, detach, and disassociate with any controlling belief, rule, or habit or pattern that has come to you that compromises your respectful, loving, secure relationship with money, abundance, prosperity, and wealth.
Mm. I think I need help with that.
So, my suggestion is anytime you're working with your therapist in whichever modality, like for organizations where there is a money issue, we do organizational constellation. Some people have used family constellation. Some people have combined different regression therapies, which is age regression, inner child healing, womb regression, past life regression, life between lives regression, to realign their money reality. Because now let's bring another element. It's not just ancestors, it could be your own past life experiences. I can share something very personal with you. I keep joking with my best friend who lives with me that I must have taken a lot from you in many lifetimes, and in this lifetime, I just get immense joy when I'm able to give to you. And when I look at the dynamics of the relationship, he also gives. But his giving is the trust in me, the trust in my abilities, the kind of support he gives me in this journey that I'm on. He's my biggest critique, and he's a clinical hypnotherapist himself. So he understands the modality, he understands what I do. But in the realm of money, when we see anybody who's a constant giver, they don't say that. They come and tell you as a client, oh, I've always manifested these leeches, parasites. These are terminologies you get to hear, right? Or I've been cheated many times. I've been used many times. I have had people taking from me, not giving back. And I said, okay, so let's immediately look at that part of you who is constantly giving. Let's go tap into who is this? Is it a past life personality? Is it an ancestor who's still trying to work through you? A lot of times that can happen, undealt with issues in the family. Or have you picked up something from a foreign energy? So, when we look at money reality and you're making that list of all your rules, habits, and beliefs, trace the source. Very important. Where did we get it from? Who does this belong to? And this is a practice that I have, and you can try it, Rebecca. It works beautifully. The moment you are at a crossroad and you're not too sure, do I go left or right? Where do I go? Just stop for a moment and ask yourself, whatever I'm planning to do, how is it benefiting? Who is it benefiting? Am I functioning from awareness, or am I doing this to fill a void, which means there is a fear attached somewhere? So, when you're pursuing and wanting abundance, wanting wealth, wanting money, wanting prosperity, are you coming from a scarcity space, a space of lack? Or are you in an energy of abundance which is only attracting abundance to you?
Mm. So true. I use that in anything almost that I make decisions, and I kind of feel where is this decision coming from? Is it coming
Yeah.
from the heart or the mind? And I usually just go, okay, so the intention, is it anchored within love? And then I go with the questions, who is it benefiting? Is it protecting?
Then go another layer, then go to another deeper layer, and
Yes.
then ask, who does this belong to?
Yeah. That's what's missing. Who does this belong to? That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a very good one. Yes.
Like, for example, Rebecca, do I always give? Do I say no? Is it okay to say no? In my understanding, yeah, sometimes it's absolutely okay to say no, and I don't have to justify.
You're so right. I think a lot of us forget, the no part.
Because there's another element that comes in, is this whole strange dynamic of guilt, latent guilt. I have, you don't have. So I have to somehow give. No, you don't have to. Do you choose to?
Oh,
Because when you, yeah, so this is another layer here, that if I am giving from a space of the joy that I derive out of it, then the moment I have given, I've disconnected from what I give. Because, go back to what I said, I am a conduit. You are the receiver from your universe. The universe is using me as a channel to give it to you.
mm, it's all right. Oh, we tend to mess up the human part, the mind, wanting to control everything. It's just, I didn't know that I was so controlled all the time when it comes to money.
So I have a little experience that I can share with you. I met somebody, uh, I think, yeah, 2020 November. I'll give you the exact time. I met him through my realm of work. And over time, we developed a beautiful friendship. He did a few sessions, which he stopped. Later on, I realized that he had maxed his credit card to do those sessions. He wanted to change his money reality. And he has been a source of big learning for me, because the more I supported him as a friend, I was able to identify all these red flags within me. I would listen to his struggles and difficulties. And when I used to drive home, I used to be literally chanting in gratitude for my home, my family, my stability, security in life. And many times when I would gift him anything or give him anything or support him, it would come from that space of gratitude. And then one day I said, no, I need to go a little deeper to see, is there a void somewhere where I'm getting into a space of guilt tripping myself into giving because I have, he doesn't, I feel bad, so I give. Because
Mm,
if I'm
yeah.
doing that, then
That's
I'm
a
not
tricky
doing
one.
him or me. Because then I'm neither doing me a favor nor am I doing him a favor.
You're right.
And that is the time I realized sometimes we have to learn to see even that aspect of ourselves.
Yes. You're talking
So,
to me.
so
I hear you.
do I care for him? I do. Do I give him? I do. But there's a change. Is the moment I saw that shift in me that I don't always have to give, and he as a soul has chosen a journey. I can do what I do, but I must do it in authenticity with my own soul's calling. I don't have to see him as a victim. Very important point. I am not his savior. Important. Why? Because now I recognize you as a soul who has all the abilities to tap your own potential. So, what you take away then is the ego's joy in playing the role of the savior.
Mm.
This plays a lot in money realities, Vivek.
Oh, I think
You know,
so.
the savior role.
I'm so much better at dealing with that frame in different situations, but when it comes to money, it seems like you're talking to me. There's something here that I need to look at, to be honest.
So, yeah, so the person to work with on this is me, myself. And this is where journaling, meditation, self work, talking to that part of yourself, inner child healing plays a very big role. And then it brings me to my own relationship with money. I see her as a very potent female creative energy. I mean, I'm talking to you, I can literally feel that pulse inside.
Mm, you're talking to about me. I was like, do you see? I didn't get that.
So, so, so
That
when
made,
we
yeah,
when we
sorry.
go into it, personalize your relationship. You want to have someone. You want that entity to be with you. Let's just personify it.
Mm,
Take a moment, personify it. Do you see it as a strong male energy? Do you see it as a female energy? Do you see it in a neutral form where there's male and female to it? How do you see it? Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? Give it a form if you have to. The more you personify, the more you learn to bond.
mm,
See, we do as human beings, we find it easier when we have a form and a shape. You would have done a lot of spiritual work, a lot of self-healing work to be able to just be fine with color, form, energy, which is free flowing. So, for people who first come to me to shift and change, I said, tell me, how does it feel? Does it have a male feel, female feel? How would you personify? Sometimes people give you strange, funny names. Sometimes people talk about divine beings, talk about gods and goddesses. It depends on the part of the world you come from, your own religious beliefs, your own socio-cultural dynamics, your own personal belief systems. And the moment we've got someone to personify, it has become very personal
mm,
because it's between you and money, you and prosperity, you and abundance, you and wealth.
mm. You're right.
And all you're going to do through any release technique is to clear the path of free flowing energy between you and that. Because if there is a clear channel, it will free flow.
So funny when you were speaking because I I don't know if I told you this, but I actually did that exercise. It just hit me now. I forgot about it. Haven't done it for a while. I should connect again with the money of spirit.
Actually, I was just going to say, do these exercises often. A lot of times, what happens, Rebecca, is we go, we possibly do a session, we may be doing a chain of sessions, or we attend a a webinar or a workshop, and for that period of time, we focus and do this work, and then we stop.
Yeah.
It's free flowing. You're evolving as a soul, you're connecting to other souls, you're picking up soul dust, you're picking up energies, you're giving away energy.
Mm,
So sometimes you need to go and do a revise. Just go do it again.
mm. That's so important. Thank you for that reminder. I think we always need to be reminded of specific things in our lives because sometimes we just, life happens and before you know it, you're on automatic pilot again. And even though I'm very in tune with, I do start my day setting my intention, meditating, being very clear about what my intentions are for the day and who I want to be, and just allowing myself that freedom to be who I am. But then life start, then somebody's calling on you, something happens, and you go into this survival mode. At least I do sometimes, just almost, there you go again, afraid of losing what I just had, thinking, okay, that went out the window because I just got triggered, right? And then instead of taking that breath and just realigning, and I just keep on running. I used not to do that, but I've been doing that lately. I can really feel that I've been doing that lately. So thank you for that. That reminder was key.
My pleasure, truly my pleasure.
So,
And that also brings me to another point, Rebecca. So let's say you know a tool, you know a technique, you've practiced it for a while, it's worked for you. Then life happened, you picked up other tools, techniques, you're continuing, you're evolving, and you again face a roadblock. What I've seen in life, all you need to go to is go back to basics.
mm, so easy.
Right. So it's with you. You've got the book, take it out, go back to the basics. And all you really need to do is with your present awareness, your present learning, your present state of being, practice those tools again, and you will actually practice with layers because you have more learning now.
Yes.
You have more
I can
life
feel that when you're
experiences.
saying putting it into words. I actually feel that. That's what I'm doing every morning when I'm doing my meditation. When I tune to what I need. So I kind of, and if I don't find anything, I go back to the very basic.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, so when you do it, one of the key factors of any release technique is the belief and readiness with your intent.
Yeah.
The intention has to be very, very clear and pure.
Mm.
And when you start any release work, and I say this to all of us at any level of awareness, you actually first start releasing at the feeling emotional level. You know, the frustration, the irritation, the confusion, the anger, the hurt, the pain, all of that, it's your feelings you first go into. So you really do focus on the heart mind, and that takes you then to the gut mind. What are you holding in your body? Which is why a lot of times clients tell us after very heavy sessions, couple of days they may have, diarrhea or a little heightened body temperature, sometimes headache and sleep. Some people just have flu tendencies. And I just say that please honor your body. You've been through a process. Your physical body is letting go and detoxing. So hydrate, rest, ease off, give yourself 48 to 72 hours. Your body will get back to balance.
Mm. Good. I think that is, it's such a key component to any kind of healing work, actually.
Yes.
So
Yes.
whether it's money or it's something else, just knowing that things will happen and give.
You're after all healing a relationship.
Yeah.
And that takes me to the third mind, the mental mind.
Mm.
Because till you haven't waded and gone through the feelings and the emotions and the energies and what you're holding in the body, you're not touching the thought space. And that's where the release starts to help you realign, redefine, recalibrate. That's where your hardware, software goes through a revamp. Because that's what we're doing, right? We are working with the help of our hardware in working on different apps that we've downloaded into our software, where we're updating the operating systems. We're getting in fresh softwares, fresh operating system, fresh applications, in having a very free flowing, safe relationship, respectful, honorable, loving relationship with wealth, with abundance, with money,
Mm.
with what you perceive as prosperity.
Mm.
Because
Yes.
my idea of abundance and prosperity may not be yours, it's very personal. And what I feel today may not be what I will feel in a year's time. I think one of the biggest learnings, Rebecca, of a lot of people I've been working with during COVID and now in the post pandemic space that we are in, the way the global economy has shifted, different parts of the world are dealing with a lot of other things. I think people's reality of money, abundance, prosperity has shifted,
Yes, I feel that too.
right? I have come across quite a few people in my workspace who are choosing simplicity.
Mm. Yes.
uh, we are happy with a little less. Don't get me wrong, I love the good things in life. Let me be very honest. I'm as human as everyone else. I've taken a human birth. I'm a woman. I want to feel every bit of it. I want to enjoy all the good stuff. But if there is an awareness that has come in where this balance of duality of human existence with our spiritual existence is more potent, it's more acknowledged now, because people have had time to relook at life. People have been through experiences which has made them look at what abundance is for them, what prosperity means to them.
Mm.
A lot of people today go back to, that line we used to hear a lot: health is wealth.
One more time.
Health is wealth.
Yeah.
Because when we've seen people suffer, when we've heard of loss, when we've experienced loss of loved ones, we have realized that I could have a lot of money. If I don't have health, I am not wealthy. So, so even our definition of a lot of things are changing. So it does bring us into understanding that my relationship with money, if I want to realign it, to come back to where we were, I was getting more and more into a spiritual space,
Mm.
but to come back to it is, when you are doing any release work, you want techniques to release. Yes, if you have access to a therapist who can help you do past life regression, age regression, womb regression, inner child healing, family constellation, theta healing, access bars, there are so many, many modalities. The world is full as we talk. DNA healing, right?
Yeah.
Quantum consciousness. So we can rewire, and so beautifully, we were explaining it in the other podcast. I loved it, where we actually open ourselves into receiving more of our soul's consciousness.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have to
So
allow our
when we
physical
receive,
bodies to actually open up and to be able to carry that, and then we have to release, of course. Yeah.
this, so when we are looking at release techniques, one of the simplest, I just wanted to share with you a few very simple tools, and this is, Rebecca, for anyone who's listening in. These are tools which don't cost you much or are completely free. So we all go for a shower every day, I'm guessing. We all do. Some of us have more than one shower a day. When you're standing under the running water, All you need to do is, when you're running your hand on the arm like this in a release way, you're letting it go. Just say, I release into this water and Mother Earth with ease and awareness all that which blocks me from being prosperous, abundant, and in a secure relationship with money.
Mm. I love that.
And keep saying thank you to water, because you're literally washing your energy space as you wash your physical body. Another way to do a second thing is, um, I use the black tea light or black candle like this. Yeah, simple. I think Amazon has these. Um, all I do is, I hold the tea light without lighting on one palm, and then I cover it with the other palm. And I close my eyes and I say, by the light of this candle, I release all hooks, fears, doubts, insecurities, implants, imprints, influences, entanglements, attachments, associations across time and space, across frequencies, across dimensions, across past, present, and future, that stop me from enjoying an abundant, prosperous, healthy, happy, joyous, respectful, and honorable relationship with money and wealth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it is, so it is. It is done, it is done, it is done. And then I open my eyes, I place the candle in a votive, and I light it. Now,
You place it
usually,
in the water, you said?
no, on a votive, like a
Okay.
holder,
Oh, sorry.
like a
Yeah,
holder.
holder. Yeah.
And then I light it. Now, usually, what I have observed, the tea lights last approximately 2 hours. Approximately. Some stay on more, some stay on less. Now, somebody might be listening in and saying, I can't afford to buy a black tea light. That's fine. Use a white candle, a simple candle. Because what you're doing is, you are invoking the powers of abundance in the universe, because the universe has more than enough.
Mhm.
And the light is like a beacon, a torch, which is attracting or clearing for you. This is the power. Why I say use black is, black is used to clear any negativity.
Mhm.
So when you do the release work, ideally a black candle works. Now, people who are using a proper black, one of those long, tall candles, yeah, light it, let it be lit for about 15 minutes to half hour, then blow it out. Use the same candle the next day and use it every day for 15 minutes till it's finished, then you replenish.
Mm, that's amazing.
If you don't have
That's a
any colored
powerful
candles,
exercise. Thank you for sharing that.
thank you. Thank you. So, release work with candle, you add another layer,
Mm.
take a sheet of paper, with a red pen, write your name on top, and then write down all those habits, beliefs, rules that you want to release related to money. I release the fear of receiving money. I release my father's belief about money being a source of all evil. People have said these things to us, right?
Mhm.
Um, I release my fear of not having enough in my old age financially. A lot of people have that as well. So they become hoarders, which means they're functioning from a fear of not having enough. Yeah? So people can have various different beliefs. So everything that is restrictive, controlling, and limiting about money, put it down. If you can't recognize who it's from my space. We don't know who it was from MySpace. Once you've written that list, fold that sheet of paper, then do the candle therapy and place the candle on that paper. So it is as if you are choosing to release by the light all that which you have listed in that sheet of paper.
Mm. Powerful. Yes.
Another technique is something which I think most of us who are in the world that we are in and the work that we do, you would have heard it. It's write and burn.
Yes.
Take
I've
a
done
sheet of
that
paper,
several times.
take a sheet of paper and write dear money or dear abundance or dear prosperity or dear wealth. And then write a very, very heart to heart letter about all the fears you have, about all the reservations you have, about all the confusion you have, about all that you feel bad about, feel sad about, feel controlled about. What are you doing? You're writing to money. You want money to come to you. You want money to come and stay with you in a very happy, healthy, loving relationship. So when you write that letter, no one's going to read that letter but you. So you can be very honest, very open, very transparent. Put your fears down, put your insecurities down, put what mom said, dad said, what nan said, when granddad said, what your old boss said, your ex husband said, somebody else said. Write it all down and then burn it. Take the ashes and put it in water. So I'm one person, Rebecca, who believes in the elements a lot, the
Mm.
five
Me
elements.
too. Me too. I use
So
it.
when you're writing, you're using earth.
Mm.
Yeah. When you burn, you're using fire and air. And then when you're putting it in water, you're using water. So Mother Earth, who is so abundant, who's so giving, who's so nurturing, you are going to take her help in clearing this relationship space.
It's beautiful. And to me, a necessity because I believe that our bodies belong to Mother Earth, and we have to think of us as whole, and so we have to bring all the elements into whatever healing process you do. That's my belief anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
thank you so
so
much.
believe in
Yeah.
her giving nature.
Yeah.
She's so immensely giving, immensely giving. We have to learn to accept and more importantly honor what we receive.
Yes. Honor what we receive. Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm honoring you, Indrani, right now, and in gratitude for, you share
Thank you.
your gift with us. I mean, this has really, really shifted me. I can feel the shift. I know what
Thank
to
you.
do. And you
Thank you.
reconfirmed a lot of things and issues, and you put it into words to make it clear on where I'm stagnated. And I'm sure that I will be listening to this podcast myself again and again, just to make sure that I really tune in with all of me and
Yes.
to really embody what you're saying. It is a journey, and I'm on that journey, and I'm just deeply grateful that you're sharing that journey with me. So once
Thank you.
again, from my heart, I'm deeply, deeply
From
thankful.
my heart to you, I'm so grateful that we are being able to do this, Rebecca, because you're literally manifesting a desire or a dream or being able to reach out to more people with all of this that I've over the years learned, whether it was a teacher or a colleague or someone I've met at a workshop who over a cup of coffee we've shared, how we do it,
Yes.
especially when we go for congresses and training seminars and we go for retreats. There's a lot of sharing that happens.
Mm.
And one of the tools of manifestation is what's happening here. I want to do it. I told the universe, find me a path, and I surrender to you. This is what I would like to contribute. This is what this podcast is today, a pure manifestation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Because
you,
through you,
universe.
the universe will let me share, because every tool that I'm sharing with you, every technique I'm sharing with you, I have seen they work.
Mm.
Whether it's me, whether it's a client of mine over the years, I've seen this work. And that's why I'm saying when you do it, your intent has to be very, very clear, pure. Because what actually the universe picks up is the vibration behind the heart, the mind. When it's putting that intent out, what's the vibration?
Oh,
It's
I
the
get
vibration.
goosebumps when you say that. I love the way you said that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're opening a portal, and that is how you receive.
Mm, so true. Mm.
So
Oh,
it
yeah.
brings me to manifestation. When we talk about release, release clears the space. Then with release comes part two, manifestation. So after you've allowed yourself to clear limitations, controlling thoughts and beliefs and patterns and habits, you want to manifest. And in manifestation, visualization plays a very big role. Because in visualization, what happens is in your mind, you have already created a parallel reality. You have allowed yourself to feel, see, visualize, imagine the joy, the
Mm.
happiness, the sense of security, the peace of mind. That in that reality, you are already experiencing it. Which is why guided visualization in manifestation is huge. And you can use the same tools. You can use candle again. What I do, of course, I'll show you what I do. I use two different colors. One is orange for creativity, and the other is red
Mhm.
because red is grounding. It's Mother Earth's energy also. If you go into the core of Mother Earth, it's beautiful pulsing red, right? So, what I do is the same thing, but now I will place the candle and say, by the light of this candle, I welcome into my space, my home, my life, my work, abundance, prosperity, wealth, financial security and stability, and pure joy in this very healthy, happy, loving relationship. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is, so it is, so it is. And then light the candle. Like the release work, you can also place under this candle a paper with your name and what you want to manifest.
Mm,
Be detailed.
good idea.
Be as detailed as you want.
Mm.
This house we live in, Rebecca, I've literally visualized this house before we signed the contract for it.
Oh, that's amazing.
I used to visualize a room for my sessions and my prayer room, my room. My brother will have his own space. My best friend who lives with me, he has his space. We're all very space conscious people. And I have my little backyard. I can have my little good neighbors. I love this neighborhood. Literally detailed, go detailed. When you order a
That's the
pizza,
fun part, I think, of manifestation, allowing that
yes,
to flow.
yeah, right. Because when you order a pizza, you're so detailed. Thin crust, gluten free, extra cheese, no chilies, extra this, no that. You're so detailed. Be that way with what you want to manifest with the universe. It just makes it easy for the universe to give. Because then the universe says, oh, that's what she wants. That's what she gets. And when you're detailing in that sheet of paper, when you're writing what you want and what you want, why you want it, what you want to do with it, how you're going to feel with it, it becomes a feeling in the body
Mm.
because the physical body can anchor the emotion and the sensation. So it becomes a projection into that reality.
Wow, enlightening once again. Ah, wow. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Indrani, well, I always enjoy our conversations anyway,
I
but
love it.
this was really personal to me, right spot on what I needed for my journey at this very moment in time.
So clean, 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 clear, 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 and then carefully stand at that door and ask, what do I want to bring in? How do I want to place it? What relationship do I want to share with it? And how will I sustain this relationship? Very important.
Sustainability. Yep.
Because you've heard me use the word honor a few times, respect a few times, loving a few times. If we want to have a long standing, secure relationship, all of these come in.
Mm-hmm.
Which means, I've heard this, right? People who've impulsively spent. That brings me to the next element of money relationship, which is how do you sustain this relationship? Welcoming, great. Inviting, great. You brought it in. It is like any other healthy relationship. You have to learn to respect it, honor it. You have to be sensitive. You have to be real about the three-dimensional world you live in. How are you managing this relationship?
Mm. You're right.
That's great. I've got money coming in and I keep spending it. What have I told money that means, oh, I like you coming, but I'm not too sure how to keep you? I'm not too sure how to sustain this relationship with you. How will money feel? This is funny. She asks for me and then she doesn't really keep me much. She seems to be squandering me. So many a times when clients say that, I can earning is not a problem, but somehow money never stays with me. It's a very common one that I hear sometimes. So I always say, okay, let's go into that relationship space. Why doesn't money want to stay with you? What is it that you do or don't do that doesn't let money stay with you? What do you need to realign for money to feel comfortable, safe, and loved so it stays with you?
Mm. Yep.
So
That's
that's
that's another issue.
so another thing that I tell clients that when you're realigning your money relationship, please look inside yourself and see that what do I change in me?
Mm.
What do I shift in my outlook? What do I shift in my perspectives, in my rules of life to have a steady relationship with money? So it isn't just about it coming, it's also about nurturing and nourishing it and sustaining it.
Mm.
And when you
That's the
do that,
thing I failed at first time around.
Ah. So, why I'm sharing this with you, it's very mystic. You'll find you will manifest even people in your banking world, people, your relationship manager at bank or your wealth manager, a right aligned mind, someone who understands it, someone who understands the holistic perspective of money reality, someone who will even understand how you want to invest. I remember this experience. I was sitting with the person who helps our family money reality with the bank, and I literally invoked my spirit guides and power animals in the meeting. No, of course, not telling her, I'm just doing it myself. And I'm like, guys, you have to help me and guide me to choose right because I don't come from a banking background. I'm not a finance person. I understand the metaphysics of it, but this is the physical three-dimensional world. I need you guys to help me to choose. So I was doing this very simple technique. Is this right for me? Is this beneficial for me? And will I be able to continue to contribute to this universe with this? So
The
even an
part there is kind of
investment,
important, actually.
yeah. So even an investment, I was asking these three questions. before I would say yes or no to that lady. And the lady had no clue why was I closing my eyes for a few seconds every time she asked me a question. And there was this marked pause before I would give an answer.
I recognize that because I do that myself in specific moments, but maybe not. Maybe I should map that over to the money part.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an amazing conversation. It's gone on for quite a bit, and so I know this episode is very special to me. Not only am I doing it with you, Andrani, and I so appreciate you, but it's been such a healing process for me. So I'm just grateful that you were able to do this with me. And but before we end this session, I'm gonna just mention that I will place your contact information in the episode summary so that anybody who wants to get in touch with you and have some guidance, if it's money or whatever you do, you have a lot to offer, then all the links and everything will be there for people to connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
I
remember, for you who's listening,
really
watching,
hope it changes
yes,
people.
and when they sign up for the Spiritual Quest newsflash, then they will be able to get special invitation to special events. And I know that you have a gift for our listeners or are watching or those who are watching. So I'll make sure that the link to the newsletter is there so they can get that gift. Well, thank you so much, Indrani. And as always, I will make sure that my guest information, all her contact information, all your websites, anything that you have that you want to share with the world, I'll make sure is in the episode summary, Indrani. So, is there any
Thank
final last words that you would like to share with the listeners before we say goodbye?
Yes, Rebecca, actually, it's very linked to something that I'm wearing, some things that I'm wearing, stuff that are sitting here with me. There's something very beautiful right behind you, and there's a crystal tree right behind me. I love crystals.
Mm, me
And
too.
with money reality, I do use crystals. And this is something that I would love to share with your listeners and people who connect to crystals in my own little way, my journey with crystals.
Oh, how wonderful. What a gift. So, if they want to receive that gift, then remember to sign up for the Spiritual Quest newsflash. And I'll have that link in the episode summary as well. So, thank you again, Indrani. And I
Thank you
guess
for
we'll be
having me.
sending everyone lots of love and light from us, from you in Dubai, from me in Norway.
Thank
Always.
you, thank you, thank you. And may you truly enjoy a very abundant, prosperous, loving relationship with money.
Thank you.
Thank you.